Hello, on this Sunday morning, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. You're looking at the leftovers of Harvey that's exiting off the coast. This is the main cloud shield for that. And another weather system, an area of low pressure southeastern Great Lakes and pulling moisture in and partially from Harvey and up into northern New England, where we're going to see a fairly rainy day. It's already started, and the rain is only going to increase and continue. Probably good for about a half inch to some areas seeing about an inch, maybe a little higher than that in a few spots. The other thing I want to point out to you is we also have, with this area of low pressure, we have some downsloping winds that are being activated right now along the immediate western slopes of the Green Mountains. These are generally right at thresholds, mountaintops, a little bit below that, really, as you get down on the valley floors. It's a very narrow piece of real estate, so we're not looking at any sub-alerts today for wind damage. There could be one or two strong gusts that knock a couple weak trees over, but we're talking about minimal stuff here. And the strongest winds along the western slopes of the Green Mountains are indicated here from Bennington County right up the western slopes of the Greens, and some of our local higher terrain like the Worcester Range and some of the areas around Groton Forest could see some wind gusts approaching 40 miles per hour. But for the most part, this is a narrow part of the real estate here. Not really getting into much of the Champlain Valley or along the western slopes. I think the strongest is probably going to be in Bennington County, with Bennington being the closest here. So looking at the wharf ensemble from NCAR, and when you get into the greens here, and this is barely showing up here, this is 18 meters per second, 20 meters per second. That's a gust of about 40 or so for the strongest winds here. And this develops, looks like, really from about this point on. It peaks out somewhere probably from about 11 o'clock this morning, continuing, and then it kind of falls off certainly by 5 o'clock, probably a lot of it before really 3 o'clock. So a short period of some gusty westerly downsloping or southeasterly winds that are downsloping along the western slopes of the Green Mountains. Same thing around the White Mountains, New Hampshire, and so forth. Okay, this is the severe thunderstorm SREF model. And interestingly, there's some percentages here that have increased across parts of central and western New York into northeastern Pennsylvania. This is for today with the moisture we're seeing. And then it falls apart, and then basically no issues on Monday, and then we get into basically Tuesday. And on Tuesday afternoon, that's when our next flare-up happens here. It's mostly central and southeastern New England, but you can see southern Vermont, and a little more impressive here as you get to the south, but not expecting a really big day or anything. But there could be some minimal impacts with some of the stronger thunderstorms. That would happen on Tuesday afternoon. One of the other interesting things to note here is a lot of this smoke that's taking place right now. It's quite extensive, and as the morning sun rises, what you can see is some of that smoke here coming in from the western wildfires, and it's the angle of the sun really lights it up very nicely. There's a clear spot, and we're being rained out right now, but off to the west of us, man, there's going to be a lot of smoke. Here's another look at it. This is a 2.5 micron level. You can see all the wildfires, Southern California right up into parts of even Canada. A lot of smoke headed eastbound. So within the United States, we have 1,112 fires ongoing. 59 are new. And you can see that across the Pacific Northwest into parts of the Northern Rockies. And then now down into parts of Southern California, we just have tremendous fires taking place right now. And it's most noteworthy here in the Pacific Northwest, where there's just fires everywhere, up into the Cascades and northern Rocky Mountains and parts of eastern Washington and so forth. A lot of wildfires taking place right now. And of course, this is throwing out a lot of smoke. And of course, it's up into Canada, but we don't have any reports up there. But amazing amount of wildfire activity across a broad area here, as you even go into parts of eastern Montana and the grasslands. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.